Hello and welcome, my name is Akira, and this is my Let's Play series of Europa Universalis 4, where we were playing as England, but we are now playing as Great Britain. That's right, although we have had the islands under our rule for some time now, we finally reached that administrative technology level 10 that allowed us to become Great Britain. And furthermore, we just defeated France for the first time ever. So this is looking great. We did, however, kind of lose out in a religious war. We were on the way to becoming a Protestant nation, but then suddenly, I think it was only one single rebel army managed to defeat me by taking over Essex and London, and then just enforcing their demands. So now we are once again a Catholic nation, and let's see what we can achieve. One thing we do have to look at is to get back in the Holy See and see if we can dominate that. I think that with our size now, we will actually be able to get some cardinals in and hopefully get the Holy See. But let's see what we can do. So Bavaria tells of us the end of their religious turmoil. We are just out of the war against France, and we are still kind of recovering. As you can see, we have almost no manpower, and bad things can happen if you're below 25% of your manpower. So right now I'm just focusing on recovering that before we kind of turn to anything else. We do have 2 diplomats free, so we might want to look for something to do with those. We have a claim here in Picardy, and or a call rather, so we might want to look at getting a claim somewhere in Burgundy too, so we might get a little bit more out of any war against them in the future. I think I'm gonna look at the I'm gonna try to make a claim on Artois, which can help us out in the future. And while we're at it, I'm not sure if I have a claim on Labour. Nope. Let's do that also, so we can get that back. As you know, that used to be an English province, but we gave it away in the 100 Years' War, and then had to give it away again when we went to war with France the second time. But now that we are slowly tipping the scales in our favor, we would like to take it back. And let's look over here. We are well on our way in the colonization. Let's just check the size of our colonies. Currently we are colonizing these 2. I don't know actually why I have soldiers over here. Oh, I've just sent a colonist here. That's right. I think it's weird that the colonist and the colonies don't have the slots close to each other. But the last time we chose this expansion idea, which means that we now have 3 colonists, which would mean that it does increase our supported colonies limit to 3, and it makes us able to colonize much faster, which we will use to get an even bigger advantage against the other countries like France and Portugal and Spain. Portugal and Spain are, and especially Spain, are dominating the colonization down here in Brazil, and Portugal are getting a handle on us down here in the Caribbean. But I think I'm gonna focus on getting the North Americans, and then we can always go to war for the Caribbean if we want some provinces down there. They are rather profitable, but I would rather dominate trade in one area than be spread out in a lot. But since we have to deal with those rebels, let's turn up army maintenance just a tiny bit. and we are making a fair bit of money again, so we might think about getting some stronger advisors. Although we should actually focus on building. I haven't built a terrible lot of buildings. I would like to get a lot of armories. We don't have a lot of manpower, and we really need that, especially if you're gonna fight with France in the future. They have just so much more manpower than we do, and it just means they can hold out for far longer in the war, and they can be ready to go to war again much faster. So we really need that if we are to contend with France in the future. But we should park them in the middle of Britain instead of in London. But let's turn down army maintenance again so we can get some of the manpower back. And France declared war upon their new enemy Avignon. So they aren't laying low. And we converted someone. Maybe we can use some of the papal influence to secure this cardinal. But I don't think we can. Oh, we can actually get Munster now. Most of these provinces we won't be able to convert for some time because of that religious seal. That's a modifier that lasts for 25 years after they converted to Protestantism. So it will be a long time before we can achieve religious unity. Our diplomatic corps has been working hard to ensure that our interests are represented in foreign courts. The force has allowed us to spread our net of influence yet further. So for the next 5 years we can have one extra diplomatic relation. But we already have 6, so I don't really think we need a 7th. So, what do we need? Oh, we are rivals of Spain, that's why we can't get an alliance there. We are right now allied with Austria and Portugal. And it was Austria who pulled it into the war against France. They are a bit weak right now, but maybe we should try to ally with the current emperor, although it's Lorraine, that's a small country. Let's find them Lorraine. Yeah, they only have 2 provinces, and they are right next to France, so France will probably go to war with them at some point. Do they have any military? Let's find Lorraine. Oh, they have 1,000 troops, so they definitely aren't worth allying. Let's actually just look at how big the armies are right now. Who has the biggest? Right now, the Ottomans are clearly in the lead, and we are actually number 2. So we still have a good leg up on France, even though we haven't replenished fully. They do, however, have that nice manpower buffer that we lack, which is why I'm trying to build up our armories. So we'll prefer some more fur. Fur is always good. It's always worth to take a look at this disputed succession. Sometimes you get lucky and inherit the throne of another country. So it's always worth to see if you can get a royal marriage. We could actually get a royal marriage here. How are we doing on these claims? I think I'm gonna wait and just get those claims. Gain a grand captain there. As the army is starting to enjoy the fruits of our increased favor, many young officers are looking for the opportunities to distinguish themselves. One captain in particular stands out. He even cuts a striking figure. So a grand captain, that's what we already had. He gives extra morale to the armies. So we aren't ahead in any technologies right now, which is nice. So we can get them for cheaper money, or cheaper power, that is. So yeah, right now we are actually just waiting around for troops to replenish and our manpower to replenish. We are probably getting strong enough that we don't need 2,000 in each of these provinces, so I should probably take one of them home. Who do we want here? We are using only diplomatic power right now, so we are gonna buy some administrative technology. Do we have some inflation? Yeah, we have a lot of inflation we need to get rid of, so let's just get a master mint right now. We are doing quite well in trade. And build some more armories. Armories for manpower. So anyway, I think for the next several years we are probably gonna focus on our colonization. We want to get this war exhausted down, as well as our manpower up before we go to any wars again. So for some time, unless we get called into any wars, we'll probably be pretty passive. But that's all right. Especially in EU4, you could get away with being at war all the time. But I think in Europa Universalis 4, they have kind of tried to skew the different modifiers and the manpower recovery and war exhaustion recovery in a way so that you can't actually afford to be at war all the time. In Europa Universalis 3, you could actually have a rather nice war exhaustion recovery while at war, and you could even sometimes get away with getting war taxes and still improving your war exhaustion. But since you can only improve war exhaustion out of war or with ideas and then very slow ideas, I think it's up here. Yeah, we can, with the innovative ideas, which I actually are pretty nice, you can slow war exhaustion and even recover in wartime, but it's not by very much. So the game is really focused on peace or the cost of war rather. Not that the game focuses on you being at peace, but it focuses on the cost of war much more than the previous games. Okay, colonial ventures. With the discovery of the new world, we have entered we have had this thousands of times. We can either get cheaper diplomatic cost or cheaper military costs. We don't really need this. We would much rather have a strong military. We don't really need colonial range right now. Although we actually don't even need trade power, because the only zone where we're actually competing is London, and we actually we own most of that, so we don't have any problems with that right now. So let's abandon the idea of naval supremacy, at least as this idea goes. And Portugal took over the... Oh, funny. I don't think I got any... Maybe I just overlooked it, but I don't think I got any pop-up about him getting voted in. Oh, it's because it's this guy. We voted for this guy and Venice took him over, and as usual we don't get any message, which I think is really annoying. I really hope that's something they add in a patch. And I keep looking at these advisors. I really want to use all that money we are getting for some better advisors instead of just buildings. I think I'm gonna go for that diplomatic technology cost guy. We are strongest in diplomatic, but we are also using the diplomatic points for our ideas, so we might as well get some extra of them, just so we don't fall too much behind in the technology. And so now we can buy the military technology. But we are only getting 5% neighbor bonus though, and we're not planning on going to war right this instant, so I think I'm gonna wait until the neighbor bonus gets to about 10. Or at least until that naval disarmament bonus gets close to being done. But there's a good number of years before that happens. Might as well save when you're not using it. There's a lot of people who want to be allied with us right now. And fish will be produced in Kesbeck. Oh, and our armies are soon fully replenished. And more rebels, and more rebels, and more rebels, and even more rebels. Let's actually just take this army over and defeat those peasants. Then we can take one of these home with us. And then I wanna, now that we are, once we get to that 25% manpower point, I think I'm gonna look at the size of our armies and kind of look if we can improve them. I think we lost some troops in the last couple of wars, so we wanna kind of look at our army composition now that we have some room in our. Still have a lot of room in our force limit. Still over our force limit in the naval force. Maybe we should also look at that. I don't want to get rid of any of our ships though. It is nice to have a lot of cogs, even though we aren't using them right now. Borgois request privileges. The Borgios, I don't know how to pronounce this, class has grown increasingly resentful of the power of the noble families, and particularly their lack of opportunities in the higher rank of government. Their only route into power is to marry into poor but well-titled noble families or pry open positions in government circles, so we can either grant them privileges or deny them privileges. Just one of those, you're gonna lose something, what would you rather lose? And I would rather lose administrative power right now. Oh, and we got those 2 claims, so let's see if we can get that royal marriage with Sweden. Should we ally with Sweden? No, let's just improve relations and see if we can get the royal marriage that way. I don't want any more allies right now. We don't need them that much for any wars, and we don't want to get drawn into any wars right now, so there's no reason to get any more allies. Oh, and we can invest in a new idea. Let's do that and get an extra merchant. Oh no, our heir died. And we got a new one. Lucky. And we got an extra merchant. He has a weak claim though. I don't remember how good the old heir was, but a 0 in administrative after a 3 isn't really that wonderful. But I guess he's okay. That weak claim is really bothersome though. Having low legitimacy is a real problem. But anyway, I think I'm gonna take a break and I'll see you in the next video.